Good evening, and welcome to Future Choices. My name is Fran Snedeker, and I'm the producer and moderator of this educational series exploring reproductive health issues, filmed at the LMC TV studios in Mamaroneck, New York. To introduce today's episode, Pursuing the Path to Peace, Obstetric Fistula in Ethiopia, I want to share with you some appalling statistics. $10 billion. That's $10 billion is needed yearly to provide basic health services for women, newborn, and children in developing countries. That's what the world spends in 2.5 days on military expenditures. Every minute, a woman dies needlessly in pregnancy or childbirth. That means that 6 million lives could be saved every year. Between 2 and 3 million women suffer from obstetric fistula throughout the world. Currently, 100,000 women in Ethiopia alone are afflicted with obstetric fistula. These figures are disturbing and distressing. However, I don't know about you, but I'm not a numbers person. I needed somebody special to make these data come alive for me. And our guest today, Alison Shigo, is just that person. She is the co-producer of Angle Entertainment's film, A Walk to Beautiful, which introduces us to some very real women in Ethiopia who have suffered from obstetric fistula. Their stories, as recounted in the film, are so compelling that I feel as if I know them personally, and I have come to love each one of them. My inner mother has been worrying about them for weeks. Alison, thank you for bringing them to us, and welcome to Future Choices.
Thank you, Fran. It's great to be here.
Your commitment, your very clear commitment to women suffering from obstetric fistula is one of the things that makes the film A Walk to Beautiful so powerful. How did you become so involved with women suffering from obstetric fistula?
Well, it's like you said, once you come face to face with women that have suffered from obstetric fistula, you really can't turn your back on them because they have suffered so much, and it's such needless suffering.
You want to give us a quick description of what obstetric fistula is?
Absolutely. Obstetric fistula is a double sorrow. A woman loses her baby in childbirth after days of long obstructed labor, and the baby dies, and unfortunately the pressure of that baby for so long on her birth canal creates a fistula, and so it leaves her incontinent, sometimes of urine and sometimes feces, sometimes both. So a woman not only loses her baby, but she also pretty much loses her life because she's left incontinent. And her husband abandons her. Her family will take her in, but they treat her as an outcast. And so she's really left to live the rest of her life in this state unless she can be cured.
And how did you become involved?
Well, I work at Angle Entertainment, which is a documentary production company based in New York City, and we've produced hundreds of hours of television around the world. And we had never heard about the issue of obstetric fistula until we read an op-ed piece in the New York Times written by Nicholas Kristof. And in the short column, he just tells this dramatic story of a woman that was suffering from obstetric fistula, and her journey to the Addis Ababa Fistula Hospital. And so we were compelled to be able to tell these stories of these women and try to give a voice to the voiceless.
And the film was produced in Ethiopia.
Yes. So we learned about the Addis Ababa Fistula Hospital, and we quickly became involved with the Fistula Foundation, which is the United States organization that supports the hospital. It was very hard, actually, to find women suffering from fistula because they are so hidden. It really is.
Even though there are 100,000, they are
Right, right. You would think. I mean, in Ethiopia, there's an estimated 100,000 women with fistula, and yet we traveled into the countryside to find women with fistula. We even sent a scout to go beforehand, and we had a very difficult time finding them because they are so ostracized and their communities are so hidden away because so many villagers think that they are cursed. So it took a lot of time, a lot of prayer, and a lot of talking to the local communities to be able to sort of coax out of them if they knew that a woman was leaking in their village, so that we would be able to help them.
And the film finally focuses in on 5 women who have had obstetric fistula?
Yes. We ended up having 2 crews working simultaneously. One, which I was on, that was out in the countryside, that was directed by Mary Olive Smith, and then the other directed by Amy Bucher, that was at the Addis Ababa Fistula Hospital. So she was at the hospital actually trying to find women that were there seeking treatment, and that's how she met Wubete, who's a beautiful woman, 17-year-old girl when we first met her, that was on her 3rd visit to the hospital. She had been there twice before and was unable to be completely cured.
Now, what do they do at the hospital? What's the treatment that is available to them if they get to the hospital?
The treatment is, if a woman is able to have surgery right away, some women come in and their bodies are in such poor shape because oftentimes they'll have nerve damage.
There's another injury that women get in obstructed labour, which causes crippling to the legs, which is called a dropped foot because of nerve damage. This happens because of pressure of the baby's head on the nerve roots in the pelvis going down to the feet.
The dropped foot, that's our main problem here.
So sometimes these women need physical therapy and time to, for their bodies to heal before they can be repaired. So then when they do go into surgery, it's a relatively simple surgery depending on their the fistula.
Darning up the hole.
Right, exactly. Right. And it's also really relatively cheap. I mean, it's, you know, a $300 procedure. But once they are treated, it's, you know, a few weeks of post-operative care, and then they're dry. They're able to go back and become productive members of their community.
There are some really magical moments in the film that really touched me. One that I remember most distinctly is when Ayu, one of your characters, discovers getting to the hospital that she's going to be sleeping in a bed. You want to share that story with us?
It's one of my favorite moments in the film too, and sometimes it's hard to catch, but she's just blown away that after years of living in these cramped up quarters, we found Ayu in the countryside. She was one of the women that we had trouble locating, but finally a woman came forward and said that she knew of a woman in her village that had fistula. And so when we found Ayu, she was in such bad shape. She was living in this lean-to next to the barn that had where she could barely even lay out flat. So she just lay, you know, slept at night, really sitting up. And so that's why when she comes to the Addis Ababa Fistula Hospital, sees that there are other women, that she's not cursed, and then sees that they're willing to give her a bed, she just can't believe that it's for her. She's just really blown away. And another really strong moments in the film is when she recounts the story after she receives the bed. She tells us that it's almost overwhelming to her that people would care enough to give her this because she has been so mistreated by her family at home.
እንዲያ ስለሆነችብኝ ነው እንጂ ተኔ ተማጠኔ ወጣች አይደለች ተኔ ምን ሻለያታል